Tony Kinnett is an investigative columnist for the Daily Signal. He's been on the ground in Chicago and has been covering these protests firsthand. Tony, welcome to the program. What have you seen so far?
Well, thanks for having me, Sean and Emma. So far, what we've seen is a weird swarming mass of individuals who both don't know what they're doing and then at the same time are trying desperately to cause some kind of chaos. It's an amalgamation of pro-abortion yelling and then a pro-Hamas, anti-Israel yelling, and then very open socialist Marxist yelling, a lot of communist flags here as well. And it's weird to see individuals climbing on playground equipment and swinging on the swings at one moment, as we saw, and then breaking through security barriers and assaulting police officers the next. It's quite something to behold.
Yeah, we did hear it's been confirmed that a few officers were at least assaulted. I believe some of them were thrown, bottles were thrown at some of them. There were a few arrests made in this moment. It could be larger today. We know that I believe they're reinforcing it, adding even more barriers to this. I think at one point in your video, you said the security at the DNC was an absolute joke in your mind in terms of the perimeter. Did you get in the perimeter?
Yes, I was able to get in the perimeter. I was just waved through. I had no badge. I had no wristband. You're supposed to have a pink wristband if you're inside the larger perimeter. And I was waved through checkpoints, waved through metal detectors. And given the sharp contrast between that and the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, where several state police agencies were checking you about every 5 minutes, with Secret Service running multiple checkpoints outside and inside the perimeter, I mean, this is, if you'll excuse the analysis here, it's like Democrat policy has become the border policy as well here at the convention.
Yeah, even though this time they're trying to put up fences, which is something different than we've seen before when it comes to their lack of support for a border wall or border barrier. Tony, when you're talking to folks, do they like Kamala Harris?
No, actually, my videographer who was filming as we were walking across the street at one point asked if we should maybe do more man on the street interviews to get the feeling on the ground. And I laughed and said, no, everyone knows that the people here that are screaming, Kamala, go home, or we'll bring the war home. I actually stopped someone on the street and said, hey, excuse me, what do you think of Kamala? And then after they finished cussing, they said they really didn't care for her that much. And then the next person, and then the next person. They really, really do not like her at all. So no wonder the media doesn't want to cover that here down on the ground in Chicago.
Yeah, some of the messaging was Genocide Joe, referring to President Joe Biden. They had messaging for Kamala Harris, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. Again, this all over the war happening in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. So looking at day two here, Tony, from your perspective, are you going back out there? Do you expect more to come? I believe it was a few thousand yesterday. Can you set it up for today?
Yeah, so I accidentally ended up kind of leading near the front of the protest on Sunday. And then I decided that, you know, one good turn deserves another. I made my way to the front of the march yesterday as well. So I figure I might yet again return to give these poor huddled masses of socialists something good to look at for perhaps a few hours of marching, although the bulletproof vest will be coming out a few hours earlier today than yesterday.
Well, definitely stay safe. We appreciate your reporting for us. Tony Kinnett, thanks so much for taking the time this morning.